So back in the day, I went heavily after Russell Brand for one of his very, very old videos back when he was doing the Trues back in the day. It's a very long time ago indeed. But his whole shtick back then was he wanted to bring about some sort of political change for the better, but would constantly tell people not to vote because voting didn't matter and it was a waste of time. So, how are you meant to affect political change when you don't vote? Because you say it's a waste of time. Again, you can see the clear contradiction in this nonsense that he's spouting. But unfortunately, in the UK at the moment, Brand is especially taking the position of Joe Rogan. And for many people in America, other commentators who comment on the politics and stuff that's going on in America, you know full well if you watch them, very, very often they talk about all the stuff that happens on Joe Rogan's stuff, the stuff that he promotes and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it does look like that Russell Brand is very, very quickly becoming the UK version of Joe Rogan. And oh, help us. Oh, help us all. We're going to have to cover this for more and more because he's going to say stuff and we're going to have to push back against it because just in America where you've got people like Jimmy Dore being like the dumb left, the heavy grifter, and obviously George Galloway, I'd say, is probably like his UK equivalent. Now we've got Russell Brand, who is the UK equivalent of Joe Rogan, and Zeus, why have you done this to us? Why Zeus? Why? So again, let's go into this because this article gets it so very, very right upon this. So before we do go diving into this, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and one after link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching and help for those people who do help support the channel that way. So let's go diving into this then. So this comes from The Independent with the title of Russell Brand is the new Joe Rogan. Ugh. And I'm the one he warned you about. The search for Joe Rogan's British counterpart has ended, and Russell Brand is the lucky winner. Yes, the same Russell Brand who was once married to Katy Perry, the same Russell Brand who portrayed Annalise Snow, Kirsten Bell's bizarre sex education dispensing boyfriend in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the same Russell Brand who once could be relied on to raise hell alongside Noel Fielding on the Big Fat Quiz set. I know, I'm disappointed too. But such is the age that we live in. 1 minute, a comedian is going about his life, building his career, and the next, he's peddling conspiracy theories on YouTube, quoting Glenn Greenwald's newsletter at length. And no, I don't like it. And yes, I am exhausted. Brand has been on YouTube for at least a decade now. At first, he primarily used his channel to share promotional clips for his now defunct late-night talk show Brand X with Russell Brand. 8 years ago, however, he switched to a more traditional vlogging format, sharing a series of videos he called The Trues, a play on words of true news. Those videos in which Brand held a newspaper and commented on the day's headlines were mainly meant to be comedy bits. Today, they're the kind of content that would be at least shared on Instagram stories, but of course, stories didn't exist then, so onto YouTube they went. Over the years, Brand's videos did evolve. In 2017, he launched a podcast called Under the Skin, on which he welcomed a wide range of guests, from Maureen Williamson to Jordan Peterson, and on YouTube, where he has now a following of 5.24 million subscribers. Brand is no longer just a comedian pointing to the idiosyncrasies of the news cycle. Instead, he has learned to lean into hard a brand of pseudo-skepticism we've come to expect from the likes of Joe Rogans of the world. Brand's video titles can be sorted into three broad categories. First, the ones that refer to an undefined they. They are apparently a powerful entity with viewers that have supposedly been blind to, at least until now, when Russell Brand has finally stepped up to tell us about them. Recent examples include, this is what they're not telling you about Russia, so this is what they've been hiding, it's official, they've lied, are they just puppets, and so they do want to run the world. And lest you think I'm cherry picking, those are all published over the past couple of weeks, and we've even covered one or two of those on this channel. Then there are those ones that allude to the supposed lie or cover-up, saying, I've been warned not to talk about this, the title of a 14-minute video, and we're not allowed to discuss this, says the man publishing a 16-minute video on this. And this goes deeper than you know, or World War III. So this is why they want Russia war. And finally, there are the ones that don't really say anything, but when combined with the right images, hint of a variety of conspiracy theories, saying, how did they cover this up? The next photo, of course, of a vaccine being injected, saying it begins to an image of Joe Rogan with his mouth taped shut. And of course, the iconic, innocent seeming, this looks bad, also next to an image of a vaccine being administered. The videos themselves use the language of conspiracies. Brand affectionately calls his viewers the awakening wonders and occasionally welcomes them on a purported journey towards truth. Where Rogan has also leaned into I'm just the guy asking questions angle, Brand has opted for the language of openness and non-judgmentalism. He is, quote, too, just a guy asking questions. He doesn't like boundaries. He doesn't like dogma. He much like any Twitter reply guy who has ever polluted your mentions, just wants to have a conversation. And of course, in his videos, Brand is given the claim to a particular view that is being silenced, only to back it using, quote, information he found online. In other words, he's not uncovering anything. He's just a guy reading the internet and talking, which is fine. But where I'm from, we call this having a chat, not being a revolutionary truth teller. Unsurprisingly, of course, Brand has quickly publicly backed Rogan, including when the president of Just Asking Questions, of course, landed in a spot of very trouble earlier this year for spreading misinformation about COVID. You know, what every luminary does, spreading misinformation about a deadly virus during a pandemic. In Brand's world, there should be room for the, quote, alternative opinions, such as Rogan's, and maybe the, quote, mainstream media are just jealous that Rogan is so successful, as Brand suggested. Maybe we're just jealous because Rogan's viewers trust him. Or, and humor me for a second, we're just frustrated to see the very same people who criticize the media for using incendiary headlines, chasing clicks on YouTube by stoking fear of an unnamed enemy, urging people to believe that there exists a deeper hidden truth that only the guy with the podcast could possibly reveal. Or maybe we just roll our eyes when the said guy delivers such cutting bites of analysis and chum word salads such as Putin puts Russia on nuclear high alert, we ask, how many sides is there to a story that may lead to World War III? And I'm not the only one who, of course, has noticed Brand's Joe Rogan's reorganization, especially in the midst of his comments on Russia's invasion of Ukraine and on the Canadian Prime Minister's Justin Trudeau. On Twitter, one writer, Chloe Combine, adaptly described him as basically Joe Rogan dressed as Jack Sparrow at a wellness retreat. Others are already criticizing of Brand by claiming that he's being silenced or just cancelled for just asking questions. Brand's platform is seemingly designed with exactly the same kind of criticism in mind. If you think he's wrong, if you think it would be preferable that he not use his massive platform to share very shaky conspiracy theories, then you're part of the problem. He's been trying. This is part of the problem that he's been trying to warn you about, and the they surfaces in his video titles. The part of the cover-up, and never mind your own right to a voice and your own disagreement, should just be as protected as his. It alarms and depresses me that people are making money and becoming conspiracy theorists while I'm at the same time painting themselves as the rare speakers of truth. I do worry about how easy it is to look smart if you can talk for 15 minutes and just throw a couple of internet links and weaponize the language of nuance and realize that this means I'm probably not an awakened wonder. I guess I'll just have to live with myself somehow. And I too am going to have to live with myself somehow. But needless to say, as I've said before, Brand is an absolute idiot. He's a complete moron. He really doesn't know what he's talking about the first thing that comes to politics. And again, he's got the ultimate get out clause. He'll just go, but Bowler Hat Man, I'm just a guy asking questions. Isn't that all right? And it comes back to what I've been saying for years, covering conspiracy theorists. The thing is, when guys like this go, I'm just asking questions, the thing is, the answer's there, right in front of them. It's very often not hard to look up or even find. The problem is that guys like Russell, going all the way back to just a couple of weeks when you saw Ben on this channel, the conspiracy theorist, making up ludicrous claims about not only the EU, obviously the Russia-Ukraine stuff, you name it. He'll just go, I'm just a guy asking questions. And the problem is when you answer this, it's not good enough for them. The answer that is given is never good enough because it doesn't suit their worldview, because it comes from they and not them. So as always, please do be careful of listening to Russell Brand too much. I've no doubt I'm going to attract some of his fans. And trust me, guys, we're going to be covering Russell on this channel probably a bit more now, unfortunately, especially on our Wednesday live streams. We will be covering him later on today because not only, obviously, did George Galloway have an incredibly stupid conversation with Jimmy Dore, Russell Brand also had an incredibly stupid conversation with Jimmy Dore. So we'll be covering those two conversations in our next live stream, which will probably be coming up pretty soon. So watch out for that. So please do remember to hit that subscribe button. And of course, on your way out, there is the share button, the like button. Remember to click that. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a rotation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, the YouTube memberships are open as well. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you all next time.